Y'all, it's been a minute, so let's do a wrap up. Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today we're doing a bit of like a brain dump, what I've been reading lately, wrap up. I know it's been a while since I've been on. Yeah. Life's just been really lifey, and I think I've been debating whether or not to keep this channel just because, like, I've not been able to post like I used to, not been able to post like I've been wanting to. Life has really just been kicking me while I'm down. For those of you that don't know, I just recently had a baby this summer, and now we're like in full swing with school. All of my other children are doing sports. I'm drowning a little bit, okay? The postpartum hormones are getting to me. I'm just crazy busy. I'm barely finding time to sleep. I'm back at work too. It's just been a lot. Just been a lot on my plate. And so I'm not here as often as I want to be. And I've been debating giving up the channel, and just because I already don't have a lot of subscribers. Like, I know there's not people depending on me to be here or anything like that, or like super excited when I post. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try and do shorts more often, just to kind of keep things going, keep like myself feeling better about the channel, and I will just do long form content as often as I can. I don't know, we'll just see. We'll see what happens, right? Before we get into it, make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. I post whenever I can. And yeah, all I do on this channel is talk about books. If you like listening to people talk about books, here I am whenever doing just that for you. Like I said, today's going to be kind of like a brain dump, what I've been reading with the ratings. So let's take a minute to go over my ratings real quick. And just to remind you that this is a spoiler-free channel, so usually like I just give you a little synopsis about the book, what I thought about it, how I felt, and what I ended up rating it without giving any spoilers to the plot or anything like that. So 5 stars means best of the best. I absolutely loved it. No notes. Will recommend it to anybody and everybody. 4 stars means I still really liked it, but it did have a little bit of flaws. If this was a thriller and it had any plot holes whatsoever, it's an immediate 4-star for me. There cannot be plot holes in thrillers, for me anyway. The book was still really good and I really enjoyed it, and I will recommend it to people. 3 stars means I didn't like it, but it's a subjectivity issue. So this book would probably work for a lot of other people, but it didn't work for me for whatever reason. I would still recommend it to people, but it definitely wasn't a favorite of mine. 2 stars means I did not like it and it had fundamental issues. 1 star is worst of the worst. I will not recommend this to anybody. I absolutely hated it. I really reserve my 1-star ratings for books that are blatantly like homophobic, racist, transphobic, books that have cultural appropriation, or books that encourage acts like grooming and any kind of like sexual exploitation and things like that. So yeah, there's not that many books that actually get the 1 stars, but if I give a book a 1 star, it is absolutely heinous, and I probably won't ever read the author ever again. Not that many books that might get the 1-star rating. So there we go. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. The first book I'm going to talk to you about today is Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. Okay, how did I not know who Rachel Harrison was? Where has Rachel Harrison been my whole life? This book was amazing. I don't even remember how I came across this book. I feel like it came up on my Pinterest feed or something, because, October's coming up. If you guys have been on my channel a minute, you know that October is reserved for horror books only. And I was sort of getting into this space where I was like, I'm getting ready. I'm excited for horror. Sometimes I do like a summer horror segment where it's like usually around August when I'm like, I really want a horror book. But I knew if I read too much horror in August, I would burn myself out for October. It's happened in the past. I do it all the time. So I didn't want to go too heavy, but I have started collecting titles for October. This book popped up, and immediately I got good vibes from it. And I read the synopsis or whatever, the blurb for it, and I thought that sounds kind of cool because it has very much cultish vibes in the description, right? So we're following this young woman that has left a cult, and she's been living on her own, like estranged from her family, and she gets an invitation in the mail to her best friend's wedding, who is still in the cult. And she's immediately like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm being invited. Because basically once you leave this cult, there's got to be another word for it. Once you leave the family, you're not allowed to come back. And so she was really surprised that she even got an invitation in the mail. Like, maybe her family is forgiving her. Maybe she can go back without, like, rejoining. Maybe she can go back and tie up some loose ends, like say goodbye to people, etc. And so she kind of gets this feeling that there's something going on and that she really does need to be there. So she goes back, and while she's there, she starts to uncover some really dark secrets about her family. Okay, so if y'all know me, cult books, love it. I love a good cult book. Like, just from the description when it said that this was a cult book, I was like immediately sold. I wanted to read it, okay? This blew me away because, and like I said, spoiler free. This was so interesting because it was not a cult that I was used to reading about. And it just gave my little heart so much joy to read it. This also has quite a bit of like supernatural vibes to it that I don't want to get into it because I don't want to ruin it for you. If you like cold books, if you like horror, if you like kind of supernatural horror type stuff, oh my gosh, pick this book up. Like, it really just, it ticked so many boxes for me. I absolutely loved it. Rachel Harrison is going on the reread. I might even dig her up for the October final lineup, okay? Because wow. And I did this on audio. It really delivered. I really liked the audiobook of this. No surprise here, I ended up giving it 5 stars. I really liked this book. If you don't read anything else from the lineup today, the books that I go over today, read this one. Especially if you like cult horror. Wow. Well, wow, I really, really liked this one. The next book on my list is The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. Okay, this was chosen for my book club. I had a really hard time getting this book, okay? The book club books have been really hard to get lately. Like, they've all been, like, super popular, or everybody's reading them, or they're new, whatever. For the record, I did not know who this author was when I picked this book up because I haven't read any of their other work, but, I think they wrote the House by the Cerulean Sea or something like that. It's very, very popular. I know a lot of people have read that book. I have not, unfortunately. But yeah, this is the same author. This is the first book by them that I've read. I read this with my own eyeballs, you guys. I didn't do an audiobook. I was so proud of myself because I have not, like, physically read a book in a long time. Like, I read a lot for my job, and audiobooks are kind of, like, just easier for me right now, just with how busy my schedule is. So yeah, I was like really proud of myself that I actually physically read this book, and it was really good. This centers around a young man that finds himself sort of at a crossroads in his life, you would say. He got fired from his job as a journalist. His family kind of has estranged him. He finds out that his parents have died horrifically, and he ends up inheriting their house on the lake, okay? Like, old memories in this cabin kind of thing, like from their childhood. So, you know, all this stuff kind of goes wrong in his life, and he's like, I'm gonna go to the cabin and just kind of like regroup and figure out what's next. So he goes to the cabin and he finds out that there are people squatting there, and it's just like this man and this young girl, and he's already like really suspicious about what is going on between this man and this girl. And he kind of just like falls into this story of this young man and this girl as he like quickly figures out that they're running from something. I'm not going to tell you anymore, okay? This has a lot of really cool elements in it. It does have a cult in it, which also made my heart happy. Lots of supernatural elements, lots of sci-fi elements as well. In the description for this book, it said a lot like this book is kind of like Stranger Things adjacent, and I will say it does have a lot of the same vibes, very much so. So if you like Stranger Things, I would definitely give this a go. There was just lots of fun things in this book, and it was also like kind of scary and not horror scary, but like thrilling, I would say. And the storyline was just very, very interesting. The pace did not work for me. There was a lot of issues for me in the middle of the book where I was just like dragging my feet. I was having a hard time staying engaged because like, what are we even doing right now? But then it really ended with a bang for me in a really great way. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I really liked it. Like I said, the pace in the middle didn't work, and there were some things I had questions about. Like, at the end of the book, I had questions that I wanted cleared up. Like, I think instead of spending time doing some of the things in the middle, we could have spent time doing other things, like explaining other things. But yeah, I really liked this. Will I read TJ Klune again? Maybe. I don't know. The books are really popular that they put out, so again, they're like really hard to get. But I did find this very interesting. I don't know. The main character, not the journalist, but the little girl in the story, her name is Artemis Darth Vader, and I absolutely loved her. I absolutely loved this little girl in this story, like just perfection. How they wrote this character. So yeah, I really liked it. Had some pacing issues, but I highly recommend. Alright, the next book is All Her Little Secrets by Wanda M. Morris. This book was super interesting, and I really don't know what to, I read it in July. I still don't really know what I think about this book. Okay, this book had me really conflicted. First of all, it's a thriller, okay? Just like the cover vibes and the description of this book is giving thriller, right? We have this young black woman. I don't know if she's like young, so subjective. I think she's in her 30s, okay? She's working at this firm, and her boss that she's also like involved with ends up dying under very suspicious circumstances. And right off, she's being painted as like a person of interest. Okay, the firm has a lot of shady things going on. A lot of people are protesting them, and in the process of all of this happening, she gets some really devastating family news, and all of this kind of culminates together, and she ends up being pursued by the police for interest in this case, that her boss being dead. And as we're starting to like go down this spiral, we start uncovering secrets about her life, secrets about the firm, secrets about everybody, and how it all kind of like comes together at the end. In my opinion, this book had way too much going on. Okay, there were some really great moments. Like, we had a lot of conversations about code switching, about race in the workplace, about women in male-dominated professions, about women of color in male-dominated professions. It's just a lot. There are so many great conversations right there within this circle of this character. And then we sort of go off on this tangent. Her brother gets involved in some way, all the shady business dealings with the firm that she's working for. And more cult vibes here, but not done in a way that I liked, really. Like, it didn't play out that strongly for me. I think if you're going to do it big. And I think there just wasn't enough put into it, in my opinion. Furthermore, the title of the book, All Her Little Secrets, like, I was waiting to see how her specific secrets were affecting the outcome of the novel. And I still didn't ever really get there. Like, it never really played out the way that not the way that I think it should have, like, because that's me being like super opinionated about the direction of the book, but like, it just didn't feel like it played out at all. You know what I mean? Like, it was in there, but to what end? Why? What was it adding? Because it didn't add to the end focus of the book, in my opinion. Honestly, I really wanted to give this book 3 stars. But because we had so many great conversations about like her as a character, about her place within this firm, I thought those conversations to me like really shone enough for this to get 4 stars. So if I was being picky, this is like a super high 3 or a super low 4. Am I going to read Morris again? I don't know. Maybe. I would have to see what else they've written, or to see like what genres they also have out. I don't know. This was not thrilling enough for me to put it as a good thriller. I think there were other elements of this book that were done really well, but it really was not thrilling enough for me. So yeah, high 3, low 4. The next book is Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. Okay, Gillian McAllister wrote Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which I read, I don't know, it feels like almost 2 years ago now. I really liked that book. Okay, very solid thriller, lots of really cool elements in that book. And so this has been on a bunch of maybes lists for a while, so I was finally able to get it checked out, and I read it. I did this one on audio. It was fine. Yeah, that's what I just have to say about this book. Overall, it was fine. Kind of lost me in the middle, if I'm being honest. This book is about a young woman that goes missing. Period. Okay. Like, under suspicious, everything's under suspicious circumstances when people go missing, right? We're following the detective, a female detective that is trying to put this case together. And as we're following her, we uncover that she also has a very morally gray background, and how her dealings with her own issues in her personal life are affecting her doing her job now. As she's trying to like piece together why this woman went missing, where she is, what's happened to her, her secrets start to unfold, and then the secrets behind the disappearance start to unfold and how they are connected. I'm not gonna lie, the puzzle to this was really interesting. Gillian McAllister did not fail to put together something super interesting. Just like with Wrong Place, Wrong Time, that book was very intricately done, and the pieces just fit together so well. And I feel like this kind of follows the same line. She really did the work, and it really like ended up paying off. But like I said, in the middle, I was really like, what are we doing? The pace was not really working for me. I was just ready for us to get to the point. I was ready for the reveals to come. And at about the halfway mark, we did get a big reveal. And then I was like, okay, we're almost done. But we weren't almost done. We were halfway through. And so I feel like there were some sections in the middle that really could have been carved down to keep the pace up. But overall, this was really interesting. Gillian McAllister proved to me again that she's a decent thriller writer. I will continue to read Gillian McAllister. I ended up giving this 4 stars. It's a very solid 4. There were not plot holes. It wrapped up very nice and tight. But yeah, the pace in the middle just didn't work for me. So that's why it kind of got knocked down. This one was decent. Next on the list is Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton. Okay, this was on the Maybe series. I can't remember for when. But this is about a zombie apocalypse as told from the perspective of a pet crow. The reviews for this book were outstanding, okay? And everyone in the review section were saying, like, it's so funny, it's hilarious, you know, the comedy was really good. This is told from, like, multiple animals' perspectives of the apocalypse as it's happening in real time. Like, pets that are missing their owners, which this crow is someone's pet. And kind of, like, talks about how he fits into the hierarchy of animals and things, and like his place in the animal kingdom versus his place in the like human world. And his sidekick is his owner's pet dog, which we find out is kind of stupid. Yeah, so you guys, I DNF'd this book at like 25%. I gave it a good go. Okay, at 25%, I was like, I can't get into this book. Was it funny? Yeah. There were parts of it that I was like kind of chuckling and stuff. I really think I was not in the right mood for this book. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't care. I honestly did not care. Like at 25%, we were still just like barely peeking into the apocalypse, like what was going on. We were just doing a lot of like flying around and speculation. And I'm like, what are we doing? We had already checked in with multiple other pets, and every pet kind of had the same voice, outcome, perspective, and it was just like, where's this going? What are we doing right now? Like, I don't understand. Are we just going to listen to house pets talk about missing their owners? Or, like, wondering when they're coming back? I don't know. I could not get into this book past the 25% mark, and I tried so many times to just pick it up and keep going, and I I was just so disinterested in what was happening. I think I don't know. I'm sitting here like, oh, I might pick it up again. Honestly, am I though? How they turned this into a series, that does interest me because there is a second book. And it's like, I don't know, we were just kind of, at the point that I put it down, we were just kind of getting to the point where we were starting to learn why the apocalypse had come about or something like that. I felt like we were on the precipice of an answer, but it felt like, well, if we were already kind of getting to the precipice of an answer, what was the rest of the book supposed to be about? And how did we turn it into 2 books? I don't know. Was it funny? Yes, I was chuckling along. I think the voice of this crow is done pretty well. The dog was funny, I will say. But yeah, I just really could. It felt, forgive me, it felt childish as I was reading it. I'm like, what are we doing? I felt that way a lot. So yeah, I don't know. If you've read this book and you think I gave up on it too quickly, please let me know. Let me know if I'm missing out on something like truly amazing and I need to pick it back up. But yeah, DNF to 25%. This is the last book I'm going to talk to you about today. It is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This was another book club book, and this one was also really hard to get. I feel like everybody's reading this book this summer because whenever I get on TikTok or even like I'm on Reels or anything like that, everyone's buzzing about this book. Everyone's talking about this book. And so I had really high expectations for this book. Before we get into the premise, I will tell you my expectations were not met. Okay. What is everybody talking about this book for? Okay. So we're at a summer camp in, I think it was this, oh, I can't even remember now. I want to say like the 60s or something, but now I honestly can't remember the timeline. And a young teen girl goes missing, and this is the story of how they're trying to find this girl. The reason it's so interesting is because this girl is related to a young boy that also went missing in the same area like 20 years prior. And so not only are we solving her disappearance, but we're also trying to now solve the disappearance of this young boy to see if these are correlated, connected, etc. So we're getting past history, trying to solve that disappearance, and then we're getting present timeline, trying to solve this disappearance and to see if they connect, if at all. I tell you guys that the cast list for this book was huge. It was devastatingly big. And not only that, but every character had 2 names. I swear, every character had 2 or more names. Like the detective in the book who we're following, like she has a point of view in the book, went by Detective whatever, her first name, and a nickname. So when I tell you that the cast had like 15 or 20 people and all 15 of these people had multiple names that they were using in the book, how was I supposed to keep this straight? Honestly. Can't even remember half the cast now because it was just noise. And so that made it really, really hard to piece things together, especially when you're talking about like the people that were suspected of the disappearance of the child, like the boy that went missing. This family is really, really big, and he went missing at a family event. So we're trying to get like people's witness statements. We're trying to get information about the family. It all blurred together. I had no idea who anybody was like throughout the majority of the book. I just literally had to keep stopping and thinking like, who is this? Who is this again? Who is this related to? Is this related to the people that are missing? Are these people related to the detective? Are these people related to the caretaker at everyone is connected to each other in some way, okay? And that also made it difficult. And we're trying to match people from the past case to the present case, and it's just, oh my god, it was so difficult to keep this book straight. And then so many red herrings, like so many. I understand like a few, yeah, sure, but like there were way too many. There were entire plot lines of this book that were dead ends. and we were just supposed to accept that they were dead ends. Like, oh yeah, this storyline that we've been following for 100 pages, it went nowhere. You're joking, right? You wasted 100 pages of my time. And more names. More names for me to remember. Oh my gosh. Guys, I have so much beef with this book, because what do you guys mean that this was the best book you read this summer? What do you mean? Is this the only book you read this summer? I'm sorry, I'm being hateful right now. But I was dragging myself through this book because everybody has been buzzing about this book. So I'm like, it's got to be good. The ending's got to just blow me away. No. In fact, the ending, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're joking, right? Because there are parts of my mind is like, it must have been the time period. I feel like the author used the time period of this book to just be lazy, because what do you mean? That has to be against the law. If you've read the book and you know, and you've seen the ending, you know what I mean? That has to be against the law to just do that. Right? It has to be. If I sit here and talk about it too much, I'm going to give something away. Like, for those of you who are really interested in reading it. Yeah, and pretty much all of book club kind of felt the same way. We all kind of got on and we were like very underwhelmed. We started picking it apart and it was just very apparent that we were all like, WTF. When you start looking at it all and you start picking it all apart, it's like, what did we even read? What did we even read? And then we get down to the final precipice of it and we're like, there are no words. Yeah, I give it 3 stars because it was not heinous enough for me to give it 2 stars because, yeah, it wasn't that terrible, but it definitely didn't deserve anything above 3. And for those of you that said it was awesome, I think you're lying. Quite honestly, I think you're lying. And just also, like, I do have a bone to pick because I asked the other members of my book club, like, based on the cover, based on the title, and based on the way that people were describing it, this felt like it was going to have supernatural vibes to it, like maybe even like a horror book, like a camp horror book. And no, do not go into it thinking it's going to be any of those things because it's not. It's barely a thriller. It's a two missing persons cases in one book with a lot of dead ends and a lot of names. I don't know. That's how I felt about it. I felt duped a little bit because, like I said, everybody's been talking about this book. Everyone's been raving about it. Had a really cool cover. I kind of thought it was going to have a horror vibe to it, maybe a supernatural vibe. The God of the Woods. I mean, it sounds like Haunted Woods or like a serial killer or something, right? Yes, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I didn't like it. I'm upset. 3 stars. Okay. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. This was a bit of a long one, but like I had a lot of books to cover because I have been reading a lot. I don't have time to sit down and chit chat with you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna try and find more time to do shorts, but we'll see how that turns out. Long form content will be hit and miss as always. As it has been for the summer. But yeah. Make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I do post. I miss you guys. I will be back when I can. And yeah, I'll see you all when I can. Bye.